Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Stephen Todd, and I'm your professor for the upcoming Introduction to the Bible course here at King's University. I just first have to tell you how excited I am. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. I realize it won't be physical, face-to-face, but through technology, through our discussion threads, I really feel like I'm going to get to know some wonderful people and make some new friends. So real quickly, let me just give you a thumbnail about me and then a little bit about the class. So I live here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Actually, I'm taping this on New Year's Eve, on December 31st, because I want to make sure to be able to get it uploaded in time for you guys to all see it. Let's see, right now the temperature, it's snowing outside. I think the temperature is about 7 degrees. It's going down to about 0 tonight, but with the wind chill, it's like -10. I don't know if you're all used to that. Some of you probably are. Others of you couldn't imagine it, but it's okay. It's just part of living in a beautiful place like Colorado. It's the middle of the winter. And I'm in my basement. Not all of you have basements, I realize, if you're in Texas or California, but we do here in Colorado, and this is what I jokingly call my man cave. It's actually my office, my study, that is downstairs. And I'm going to give you a real quick 360-degree view of it so you can just kind of see where I hang out during the day. And what you'll probably notice is that I have a lot of books. Maybe it's even a problem and I should find a recovery group or, some kind of 12-step group, but I do have a lot of books. Most of them are theology and ministry related, of course, but I wasn't always a theologian type guy. Just real quick thumbnail, I grew up in a Christian home, but I really came to know the Lord in a very personal way in my early high school years, and that was during the Jesus movement of Southern California. I grew up in Los Angeles, even though I've lived in Colorado now most of my adult life. And I became part of a large Jesus movement church. That's where I first kind of cut my teeth in ministry. I was an associate pastor. In 1982, my wife and our one son at that time, she was pregnant with our daughter, our second child, we moved from Los Angeles to Denver, where I became associate pastor of a large church there. It was a vineyard congregation, just as the vineyard churches were starting. And then they sent me a few years later down to Colorado Springs, where we planted another vineyard congregation, and I was the senior pastor there for about 16 years. In the end of 1999, I transitioned out of my pastorate into my current mission role. I work with an organization and we train pastors and leaders all throughout Africa. My recent trip was my 45th trip to Africa, if you can believe that. But sandwiched in between these last 19 years, from January 2014 until May 2017, about 3.5 years, I had the wonderful privilege of serving as the director of the King's University's Extension Campus here in Colorado Springs. Unfortunately, the university made the appropriate decision to close their extension campuses, but at that time they asked if I would continue to teach in an online capacity. So I was delighted to, but I had never taught an online class. I had never taken an online class. So the learning curve was a bit tight for me. That was about 1.5 years ago. But we got a number of classes under my belt, and we're enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. The Introduction to the Bible class is actually the first course I taught because it's a new course at the King's University, and I had the privilege of being one of the people to design the course. And so because I have a hand in it, I have kind of a personal stake in it as well. You should have received the email from me. It talks about, or it gives you the syllabus, talks about the books. There's 2 textbooks. Neither is very expensive. Neither is very long. The first one is Understanding Scripture, edited by Wayne Grudem and a couple other guys. I actually know Wayne Grudem. Wayne's a wonderful New Testament theologian, and he also happens to have a history like I did in the vineyard churches. And then the second one is called Saving the Bible from Ourselves by Glenn Powell. As I mentioned in the email, Glenn is a close personal friend of mine, and he lives here in Colorado as well. Glenn was formerly the vice president of the International Bible Society, and then they changed their name to Biblica. And Glenn will share a little bit about his story with you guys, because I had the opportunity last year of sitting down actually in my basement here in 4 different locations and doing 4 short little interviews with Glenn, the author of the one textbook, specifically for this class. And so the way the class works is it's 7 weeks. As you know, it's a shorter, more intensive schedule, but this is an intro level class, so don't worry, it's not going to be that difficult. Basically, every week there's a reading from each of the 2 books, just a chapter or 2. It's not real extensive, it's not a big deal. And then there will be 2 discussion questions that will talk about something related to each of the 2 texts. I will also have at least 1 little short video each week, and that is a source of the discussion questions as well. Now, every Monday morning, I will release what I call my weekly expectations video. It's very short, 4 or 5 minutes long, and it's very informal, but I will just talk to you guys about what that week looks like in terms of the readings, in terms of the discussion questions, any videos we're going to watch, any assignments that are due, and just to give you kind of an overview so you don't feel lost or like, you don't know what's expected that week. Along with that, the other assignments, there will really actually be 3 graded assignments, four graded assignments, not including the final exam, which will be an easy one, trust me. There will be 2 reflection papers, 1 on each of the 2 texts, okay? And they're 3 to 5 pages long. They're just a brief overview of the text. The first one will be due in a few weeks, the second one a couple weeks after that. I'll talk about it. It won't be hard. I'll give you some real specific instructions on how to do that. And then at the end of the class, there will be a 6 to 8 page final paper, and we'll talk about that too. I actually have taped a little short video where I talk about how to write a final paper. And then beyond that, the discussion threads are a major part of the grade and of our involvement in this class. So I can't stress that enough. We need to be active and involved in that. I'm not worrying about word length on the posts. I'm not grading your grammar on the posts. But I do want to see robust and energetic and respectful and polite, but nonetheless active participation in the discussion threads. Guys, I think this class is not just going to further your knowledge. I think it's going to shift the trajectory of and a paradigm shift of how you view the scriptures. I really mean that. I think you're going to be blown away by how God's going to use this course in your lives. I am here to help. If you need to get a hold of me, you have on the front page of the syllabus my email, of course, my cell phone number. You're welcome to call me. I would say email might be the first way to get a hold of me because I do check it all the time. You can text me, but if you do, please tell me who you are, because if you're not on my contact list on my phone, I won't know who you are other than a number. But again, email is probably the first way to get a hold of me because I will check it right away and respond back immediately. I look forward to meeting you all. God bless you guys, and I look forward to a wonderful class these upcoming weeks.